If you had told me 3 months ago that I'd be writing this at 2 a.m., with a half-packed duffel bag by my front door and my wedding ring sitting in the freezer, long story, I'd have laughed in your face. But here I am. My name's Dave. I'm 35, been married to my wife, Megan, 34, for almost 7 years. No kids, no pets, just a couple who used to get compliments for how in sync we were. We were the fun couple, in our friend group, the ones who hosted board game nights and had matching Halloween costumes. We'd always joked we were the boring married friends everyone envied. Turns out, we weren't boring. I was just the last to know I'd been cast in the role of naive husband, while she starred in a different kind of late-night drama with her best friend's husband. Let me back up. The signs were there. Subtle at first. Megan started working late a lot, said she was staying to finish charts. She's a physical therapist. No big deal. I work in IT, so I get it, deadlines are real. But then she started guarding her phone like it was the nuclear codes. Always on silent. Face down on the table. Bathroom trips with it glued to her palm like a nervous teenager. That's not who she used to be. Then came the girls' nights. Once a month, then once a week, and suddenly she was out more than she was home. I didn't think much of it. Her best friend Olivia had just gone through a rough divorce, so I figured Megan was being supportive. Here's where the irony kicks in. Olivia's ex? That would be Kyle. The guy my wife was actually sleeping with. Yeah. Let that marinate. Now Kyle and I weren't close friends, but we hung out in the same circle. BBQs, lake trips, holiday parties. Our wives were besties, so we became drinking buddies by proximity. I never really liked the guy. He had this smug, sales bro energy, but he never gave me any direct reason not to trust him. Until I found Megan's burner phone in the drawer behind the toaster. The phone. How I even found it feels like fate, or maybe karma. I was cleaning the kitchen while Megan was at her girls' night, and I knocked over the damn toaster. It rattled like it had something wedged behind it. Thought maybe I'd finally find that weird butter knife I lost months ago. Nope. I found a phone. Dead battery. Cracked screen. Not hers. Not mine. Cue instant stomach drop. Charged it. Turned it on. The lock screen? A photo of Kyle's tattooed arm wrapped around my wife's bare waist, taken in what looked suspiciously like our guest bathroom. I didn't throw up, but it was close. Unlocked it, she used the same passcode she always does. Our wedding date, how poetic, and there it all was. Months of messages. Photos. I miss your hands. Can't wait to feel you again. He's so clueless, lol. Yeah. Clueless. The cover-up. When I confronted Megan, did I mention this was 2 days before we were supposed to fly to her cousin's wedding in Arizona? She didn't even bother denying it. Just froze like a deer in headlights, phone still in my hand. Her first words? You weren't supposed to see that. Not, I'm sorry. Not, it's not what it looks like. Not even, please don't leave. Nope. Just pure damage control mode. I asked her if it had been going on long. She shrugged. Said she didn't count. Said Kyle and Olivia were already broken. So it wasn't like she caused the divorce. She actually had the nerve to say, at least I didn't cheat with someone random. Oh. Okay. Thanks for the loyalty discount. Where I'm at now. That was 3 weeks ago. Since then, I've learned a lot. Like the fact that Kyle and Megan had been sleeping together before Olivia even filed for divorce. Like how Megan used our emergency savings to rent a cabin for one of their getaways. Like how Olivia, her best friend, mind you, had no idea. Thought Megan was her rock through the divorce. I told Olivia everything. Sent her screenshots. She cried. Then she got angry. Now she's somewhere in Colorado, finding herself, while Kyle is apparently sleeping on his coworker's couch. As for me, I've hired a lawyer. I've secured a short-term lease. And I've started packing. Hence the duffel bag by the door. I'm writing this because I need to get it out of my system. And if anyone reading this thinks something feels off in their relationship, trust your gut. If your partner starts hiding their phone, if they start treating you like an inconvenience rather than a partner, don't wait until you find the second phone behind the damn toaster. I confronted Megan properly the next morning, coffee in one hand, burner phone in the other like a courtroom exhibit. She slid into a stool at the island, face puffy, hair in that tragic bun she reserves for days she wants sympathy. Before you start, she said, palms up like a referee, you should know Olivia and Kyle were basically over. Cool, I said, setting the phone between us. Explain how that makes my marriage open. She did the thing where she stares at a fixed point on the backsplash and tries to rewrite history in real time. According to her, it wasn't physical at first. There were photos from a hotel bed, but okay. Then it was physical, but only twice. The message thread counted in weeks, not occurrences. Then, my personal favorite, we were emotionally separated. News to me and also to our joint Amazon order history. Why Kyle? I asked. She shrugged. He sees me. Sure, I said. So does my ophthalmologist. I'm not sleeping with him either. She rolled her eyes, bitchy enough to crack porcelain. You're being dramatic. Right on cue, my phone pinged. HOA email. Subject line: parking structure incident. I open it, and there's a doorbell cam still. Guess whose black pickup was caught idling near our units last Tuesday at 1:12 a.m. Kyle, in his company polo, holding a bouquet and a six-pack, looking like a man about to ruin someone's vows. The HOA wanted to remind residents. Overnight guests must be declared. Cool note, Pam. I forwarded it to Megan with the subject. Is this declared enough? She winced, then shifted into performance mode. Dave, I've felt alone for years. You shut down when you're stressed. You never ask about my day. You say things are fine when they're not. I nodded. Great. That's marriage counseling. Not adultery with your best friend's husband in my guest bathroom. She reached for my hand. I moved mine to my coffee. Her mouth thinned. So what now? No, I said. I talked to Olivia, block Kyle, separate finances, and move out before I say something that gets me a mugshot. She attempted a last-minute plot twist. If you leave, I'll tell people you were cold and controlling. Efficient and organized, I said. Gotta make it accurate. Olivia picked up on the first ring. I braced for a scream, got silence. When I told her, you could hear the air leave the room on her end. I sent the screenshots. A minute later she texted back a single line. Thank you for not letting me keep calling her my sister. Then she dropped a bomb of her own. Kyle had told her he was getting a vasectomy last year but never went. Classic Kyle, big talk, no follow-through. Good to know for the surprise, Megan would try to float later. Yes, we'll get there. Around lunch, my windshield acquired a legal pad note tucked under the wiper. Title: My Truth. It was an apology letter with 0 apologies, formatted like agenda minutes. I didn't mean to hurt you. Strong opener. 0 out of 10 accountability. You haven't been emotionally available. Projection party of 1. Kyle actually respects me. But he can't respect a crosswalk. I deserve passion. Buy a Peloton. Here's a gift card so you can get coffee and calm down. It had $1.73 on it. She'd already used it. I put the note back under the wiper and drove to meet Kyle in a very public place. The gym parking lot he lives at, like a decorative boulder. He walked up in a cut-off tee, smirk pre-installed. Hey man, he started, like we were about to split a rack of ribs. Let's be adults. I am, I said, holding up my phone. So is this recording. He blinked. Recording what? Your apology, I said. The one where you say you knew she was married, and you're done contacting her. He threw his arms wide. You can't record me without. It's a one-party consent state, I said. One party is very consenting. He glanced around, recalibrating. Look, Dave, chemistry is chemistry. You can't fight fate. Fate, I said. Didn't use my emergency fund for a cabin weekend with a group on code. His neck blotched. She told you that? She didn't have to. Wells Fargo did. He tried for the moral high ground, slipped on the ice. Olivia is crazy. She made my life hell. I shrugged. And your solution was to try mine on. Jim's security wandered over because we'd collected a small audience of men in tank tops. The manager recognized Kyle. Dalton, don't make this another scene. Another. I filed that for later. Here's how this goes. I said, my voice calm now that the adrenaline had burned off. You stop contacting my wife. You do not set foot on my property again. You don't spin stories about me to our friend group. You do anything but apologize to Olivia, and I forward the thread to your boss, your pastor, your mother, and the HOA. Pam's hungry. He snorted. You wouldn't. You're right. I said. I already did. He called me a name that rhymes with class. I smiled. Cool. Class is over. Back home, Megan had converted the kitchen into a war room of half-truths. She texted our mutuals a preemptive narrative. We were on a break. News to me in the calendar. I'd gone cold. Putting my wedding ring in the freezer didn't help, and Kyle was a mistake, with scheduled recurring dates. One friend screenshotted the whole thing to me with, Bro, are you seeing this? Yep. Bring popcorn. Unexpected event number. I've lost count, my boss called. You okay? He asked. Turns out Kyle had DM'd my boss's wife last month from Megan's phone during a backyard barbecue. Flirty stuff. She'd blocked him and never told anyone. She told my boss now. The man was audibly vibrating. Handle your business, Dave. Take the week. That night, Megan switched to bargaining. Let's hit pause on lawyers, she said, voice soft. We can do counseling. We can do counseling. I agreed. After the divorce. I'll even bring the gift card. Wow, she snapped, the sweetness rotting mid-sentence. You're really throwing your life away over one mistake. 1 month-long mistake with house visits, hotel receipts, and a burner phone behind my toaster. I said. If you wanted an open marriage, you should have used your words. Her face hardened. The liar came back. I'm late, she said suddenly. I think I might be pregnant. There it was. The Hail Mary. I let a quiet beat pass. You told Olivia he got a vasectomy. I said. He didn't. But I did 2 years ago, after we agreed we weren't ready for kids. Remember? You said it was responsible and sexy. Her mouth opened. Closed. She'd forgotten her own script. So if you are, I continued gently, the math is not mathing, and that conversation belongs to you and your friend's ex-husband. She fled to the bedroom. 10 minutes later, I heard the shower, the angry kind where people try to rinse off their choices. I slept on the couch, my duffel bag zipped and upright like a soldier on guard. In the morning, I closed the joint credit card, opened a solo account, moved half the savings, my legal right, and had my consult with an attorney who smiled the calm smile of a woman who's seen every version of this rodeo. You're doing fine, she said after I laid it all out. Document, don't debate. Separate, don't scream. Protect your peace. On my way out, Pam from the HOA was stapling flyers about guest transparency. She waved at me like we were in a sitcom. We're adding lights to the parking deck, she chirped. People should see things clearly. Couldn't agree more, Pam. Tonight I'm taking the ring out of the freezer for the last time. Not to wear. To drop it in an envelope with a note. Return to sender when you find yourself. Tomorrow I sign a lease. Next week, mediation starts. I'm not the hero of this story. I'm just a guy who finally stopped letting someone else narrate his life. By Monday, our friend group looked like a middle school cafeteria. People picked tables fast. Table 1. Team Megan, he was cold, she sought warmth. Table 2. Team Dave, she cheated, end of story. Table 3. We don't take sides, but here's a 19-paragraph essay that accidentally lands on Team Megan. I didn't campaign. I just posted one message to the group chat and muted it. For the record, I'm not perfect, but I didn't betray anyone. Please stop forwarding me Megan's press releases. Screenshots leaked anyway. Not by me. People who'd been in our living room, eating my chili and using my Wi-Fi, discovered they didn't enjoy being cast as extras in Megan's tragic marriage. Turns out, we were on a break. Plays worse when the break happened only inside your Notes app. Olivia flew back from Colorado 2 days early. She texted, "I'm coming home because I'm done running from fires I didn't start." That woman could lead a platoon. Meanwhile, Kyle tried to rebuild his public image by posting gym selfies with captions like, "The grind never stops." The comments stopped though. Someone, bless them, added, "Neither did you, apparently." He turned comments off. Megan switched tactics. The love bomb offensive. Morning, a playlist titled, Us. Noon, a DoorDash latte I don't drink. Evening, a link to therapists who specialize in attachment. The same day, she Venmo'd me $12 with the note, "For the ring cleaner." Like polishing metal erases history. Then she sent the big ask. Dinner? Neutral ground. I just want to talk. Restaurant, Violetta's. Fancy. Candlelight. The place she used to hint about for anniversaries. I agreed, with conditions. Public place. 1 hour. No alcohol. She replied, "Of course," which is cheater code for "Watch me break 2 out of 3. When I walked in, the host smiled like he recognized me. Because he did not. He recognized her. "Ms. Hart," he chirped at the podium. "Your corner. I'll tell Marco to bring your usual Prosecco." He froze when he saw me instead of Kyle. I raised a hand. "Water's good, Chief." We're not even seated and the universe is already flipping cue cards. Megan arrived in white, like a truce flag stitched by a stylist. She hugged the host, too familiar, then sat across from me with hands folded, face soft, a perfect apology template waiting for words it didn't believe. "I'm glad you came," she said. "I'm glad you picked a place where the staff knows your usual," I said. She flinched, then tried earnest. "Dave, I made mistakes." Plural. Correct. I lost myself. I felt invisible. And Kyle found you with a flashlight and the Marriott app. She blinked fast. "Can we, just for tonight, can we not be cruel?" "Cruel," I said, "is laughing with him about how clueless I am while using my emergency fund for a cabin. This is clarity." The waiter appeared with bread and 2 flutes. "Compliments from Marco, your Thursday bubbles." He winked at Megan. "The usual." I looked at the flute like it had a backstory. "Marco, my man, water for me." "And while you're here, whose usual is this?" He wilted. "I apologize, sir." "Not your fault," I said, and meant it. It's hard to blame a smoke alarm for noticing there's fire. Megan's eyes got glassy. "This is why I wanted to meet. Not to be ambushed. You wanted to stage a reunion photo for the group. Different sport." She straightened. "Okay. Then let me say what I need to say." She inhaled. "I'm late." There it was again. The Hail Mary. I set my napkin down. "We covered this. If that's true, the father isn't seated at this table." Her jaw worked. "You're being petty." I was being prepared. I'd invited a witness. On cue, Olivia slid into the booth beside me like she was spelled into existence. "Don't worry," she said calmly to Megan. "I only bite when men lie, and he isn't." Megan went pale. "You invited her? You invited me to a restaurant where your Thursday bubbles greet you by name," I said. "Seems fair." Olivia placed a small cloth bag on the table. Keys clinked. "Kyle's. He won't need them." He's moving again. She looked at me. HR wanted the screenshots. I obliged. Unexpected event number 1. The manager, Marco himself, hustled over, flustered. Ms. Hart, can we talk? Alone? He looked at me, apologetic. Sir, if I had known. It's fine, I said. This is educational. Megan shook her head. Not now. He lowered his voice anyway. We can't comp the usual anymore. The owner saw the parking cameras. Please don't bring him through the staff entrance again. Even Olivia's eyebrows went up. Megan stood so fast she almost toppled the Prosecco. This is harassment. She hissed at nobody and everybody. Sit, I said, voice low. It's almost over. She sat. And for the first time in weeks, the performance cracked. Words fell out unvarnished. I didn't think you'd leave, she whispered. You're steady. You fix things. I thought you'd fight for me. I am fighting, I said. For me. Olivia slid a manila envelope to Megan. Financial disclosure. The cabin. The emergency fund transfers. The Venmo from Kyle labeled wine glass. You're not cunning. You're lazy. Unexpected event number 2, Kyle walked in. Of course he did. Wearing a blazer like an apology. He scanned, spotted the corner, and beelined over with the confidence of a man who's never lacked a wingman. Hey, he said to Megan, ignoring us. You look amazing. Olivia didn't even turn. My guy read the room. It's a crime scene. He puffed up. You can't talk to me like that. Watch me, she said. He switched targets. Dave, let's be men about this. We tried, I said. You failed the entrance exam. The manager reappeared, flanked by a very large buzzer. Mr. Dalton, your membership is suspended. Membership? I asked. Marco grimaced. Chef's table loyalty thing. Thursdays. He winced again. Since March. Unexpected event number 3, HOE Pam, at the next table on a date, of course, swiveled her chair like a courtroom spectator. Hi, Dave. Those LED lights go in Friday. Also, wow. Cal decided to go out big. You can't control what Megan wants. Correct, I said, rising. And now she can't control what I allow. I dropped a slim folder on the linen. Inside, my signed lease, my bank separation documents, and the first page of a no-fault divorce petition, plus an exhibit list that might as well have been a memoir. Megan stared. You already filed? I already started, I said. You'll get served tomorrow. We can do this clean. Or you can keep playing games and I'll stop being polite about where the bodies are buried. She looked down at the folder, then up at me. Are you happy? Not even a little, I said. But I'm free. There's a difference. Olivia stood with me. You coming? She asked. Yeah. We left them there, her with her folder, him with his ego, Pam with her popcorn eyes. Outside, the night air felt like rinsing off a lie. Unexpected event number 4 happened in the parking lot. My boss's wife, Yep, was waiting by my truck. I told Mark everything, she said softly. About Kyle's DMs. About that backyard party. He told HR too. I'm sorry I didn't speak sooner. Better late than bitter, I said. Thank you. She squeezed my arm. You're not the story she's telling. On the drive home, I didn't play music. Felt good to hear only tires and a turn signal that clicked like a metronome. When I got back to the apartment, I thawed the ring one last time. It slid from the ice into my palm, cold and heavy. I wrote a note and sealed both in an envelope addressed to Megan. Here's what I can return, a ring, the truth, your choices. Here's what I can't, the version of me who would have forgiven this. Tomorrow starts the paperwork. After that, the quiet. Then, eventually, the peace. The morning after the Violetta's fiasco, a process server knocked on our door at 7:14 a.m. Megan opened it in a silk robe and a face mask that made her look like a haunted marshmallow. He said, "Are you Megan Hart?" She said, "Who's asking?" He said, "The state." She took the envelope like it was radioactive and hissed my name like a swear. I'd already moved to my short-term apartment, small, clean, mine. I left a note on the counter. "Communicate through counsel. Please don't feed the HOA." Pam was outside marking spots for new LED floodlights. She gave me a thumbs up like we were launching a moon mission. "People will really see things now," she chirped. Poetic. By 10 a.m., our group chat split like an amoeba. One camp posted, "Relationships are complicated." Infographics. Another posted the dictionary definition of affair. I stayed muted and watched friendships audition for adulthood. Olivia didn't say a word in public. In private, she texted me, "HR is in touch." Turns out, curveball from Kyle's employer. Was actually 3 curveballs. Curveball number 1. Kyle's company car showed up on Violetta's cameras going out the staff entrance 3 Thursdays running. Company policy: no personal use of the fleet, no exceptions, especially not for backstage tours through the kitchen. Easy violation. Curveball number 2, heat expense 2. Client dinners. At the same cabin Megan booked with my emergency fund, complete with a line item for champagne amenity. The finance manager emailed me, through my lawyer, to confirm dates. I confirmed. Their reply might as well have been fireworks. "We appreciate your assistance." Curveball number 3. He DM'd my boss's wife from his work Instagram during our barbecue. HR pulled the logs. You could practically hear the HR lady high-fiving compliance. By lunch, he was on administrative leave pending investigation, which is corporate for pack your desk plants. He texted me from a new number trying the legal growl. Tortious interference. "You'll hear from my attorney." My lawyer sent back a letter so polite it bled. Reminder that truth is a defense, that I'd been contacted by his employer, and that further contact should route through counsel. He went quiet. Meanwhile, Megan tried to pivot from tragic swan to Earth Mother. She sent a photo at 3:06 p.m. A pregnancy test on our marble counter. 2 pink lines. Caption: "We need to talk." I stared at it exactly 3 seconds, then opened Google Images. 4th result, top row, same countertop, same manicure. I replied through counsel. Confirmatory blood test at certified lab tomorrow 9 a.m. I'll pay. Olivia will drive you. Results to both attorneys. At 9 a.m., Megan didn't show. At 2 p.m., she wrote my lawyer an ode to stress cycles and chemical pregnancy. At 5 p.m., Olivia texted me a photo of a Walgreens receipt and a negative test in Megan's bathroom trash. She took this after the server left. Olivia wrote, "She'll spin it. Your plan stands." I didn't rage. I assembled a dresser from IKEA. Every dowel was an apology to myself for years of ignoring my gut. Drawer 3 sticks a little. I kind of like that it does. Work called. My boss gave me the week. "Handle what needs handling," he said. "Also, tell your HOA lady I admire her commitment to lighting." I said I'd pass it along to Pam, who, by the way, had posted a "Welcome, new fixtures" flyer with clip art of a floodlight and what looked suspiciously like Kyle's pickup in silhouette. Pam is chaos in capri pants. The friend group tribunal kept churning. One guy, beer league philosopher, wrote me a novella about forgiveness. I wrote back one line. Boundaries are forgiveness's bouncer. He hard reacted, then Venmo'd me $10 for the ring cleaner, which, if you've been following along, was Megan's passive-aggressive gift card bit. I sent it to the local shelter instead. They messaged thanks. Felt good. Around dinner, Olivia called. HR finished phase 1. She said, voice flat from a long day. He's done. Misuse of funds plus policy violations. They're offering him a resign or be terminated sandwich. She exhaled. They also forwarded the cabin receipts to their auditors. and they asked me if I wanted a statement about power dynamics. I said yes. How are you? I asked. She laughed once. Honest? Hungry. Tired. Weirdly peaceful. I bought a plant. Dangerous, I said. Those require hope. Yeah, she said softly. I think I have some again. My lawyer filed temporary orders, separate finances, done, possession schedules for the stuff, no pets, no kids, just a very territorial espresso machine, and a no harassment clause. We weren't playing courtroom whack-a-mole, we were building a fence. Megan sent one last Hail Mary that night, a voice memo. I know you think I'm a liar, she began, stellar start. But I'm just broken, and you were cold, and Kyle was present. She cried in the right places. She said our history, like a coupon code. She ended with, You don't throw away 7 years. I didn't reply. I did make a sandwich, shower, and set my cheap white noise machine to rain. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, the ring in a drawer, not the freezer. We've matured, and laid down in a room that didn't smell like citrus cleaning spray and lies. I slept 8 hours. I woke up shocked at the quiet in my head. It wasn't joy. It was the absence of scramble. I made coffee in a mug that said, World's okayest man. Texted my brother a photo of the crooked dresser, and sent my lawyer a thank you gif of a bulldozer smoothing dirt. At noon, the first mediation date landed. At 1, Pam's LEDs clicked on for their trial run and turned the parking structure into a Broadway stage. Within the hour, I got a text from an unknown number, a photo of Kyle shielding his face, plus 2 words. Nice lights. Pam, obviously. She added a winky face and a reminder about Tuesday's recycling. That evening, I drove past our old house. Megan's car was gone. The curtains were open. On the counter, I could see the envelope I'd left, the ring, the note, sitting exactly where I'd set it. For a second, I pictured my old life like a room I'd moved out of but hadn't cleaned yet. Then the light timed out and the window went dark. Here's what I learned this week. The truth doesn't need you to shout. It needs you to document. Lawyers are expensive. Denial is more expensive. Sleep returns when you stop rehearsing somebody else's script. If someone tries a pregnancy Hail Mary, there's a lab for that. HOA PAMs are terrifying in the right ways. Mediation day smelled like coffee, dry erase markers, and broken illusions. My lawyer, calm, lethal, cardigan, slid a yellow pad toward me. Ground rules, she said. No interrupting, no reacting, no improvising. Think of yourself as a documentary narrator, factual, boring, devastating. The mediator, a retired judge with the posture of a coat rack, opened with his spiel. Today is foreclosure, not combat. He looked at Megan, then at me, like he'd said that sentence 400 times and it had worked twice. Megan arrived in professional remorse-wear, navy dress, pearl studs, the expression of someone auditioning for woman who regrets. Her lawyer set down a folder thick enough to use as a doorstop. I recognized the color, same brand as my attorney's. Small comfort, we at least bought our weapons from the same store. Disclosures first. Bank statements, cabin receipts, the burner phone log. My lawyer walked through them like a docent at a museum called Choices. Megan's lawyer tried to cough context into the air a few times. My lawyer slid over dates, times, and the polite corporate emails from Kyle's HR that said everything without adjectives. When it was Megan's turn, she folded her hands and stared at the mediator's plant like it could photosynthesize her guilt. I felt unseen, she began. I made terrible choices. I thought Dave wouldn't leave. Translation. My lawyer murmured in my ear. She gambled on your kindness. Then came the page we'd been circling, settlement terms. No kids, no pets, just a house, 2 cars, some retirement, and the espresso machine we both pretended we could operate. I offered, I keep the house and its mortgage, she keeps the BMW and its payment plan, split retirement as per law, she reimburses half the emergency fund she rated for the champagne cabin. Neutral language, clean lines, adult scissors. Her lawyer wanted tweaks. Mutual non-disparagement, she said brightly, like she'd invented the concept. I agree, I said. As long as not disparaging includes not rewriting history in group chats. The mediator wrote it down without looking up. No social media about the marriage, he added. No subtweeting. I liked him better in that moment. Then my lawyer produced an exhibit I hadn't seen yet, a notarized statement. From Marco Valenti, she said. General manager at Violetta's. Megan stiffened. The affidavit was short, surgical, confirmation of Thursday bubbles, the staff entrance fiasco, the chef's table loyalty charges tied to Kyle's work card, and my favorite line. His heart indicated her companion could not be seen in the front dining room. The mediator read, sighed the sigh of a man who'd officiated this wedding already. Objection to admissibility. Megan's lawyer said out of habit. It's mediation, the judge said. We're not admitting anything. We're acknowledging reality. I almost felt bad. Almost. When we broke for lunch, the apology tour launched its matinee. Megan followed me into the hallway, voice low. I'm doing what you asked, she whispered. I'm taking responsibility. What I asked, I said, was the truth 3 months ago. I'm sorry. Her eyes shone, and for once the tears looked unpracticed. Not sorry you found out. Sorry I did it. Sorry I picked chaos and called it passion. Sorry I made you the grown-up so I could feel young. It was the sentence I'd needed months ago, not an excuse, not a weather report about her feelings. An admission with a subject and a verb. I cheated. I hurt you. I chose it. And it landed, gently. Like a feather on a grave. True, too late, not transformative. Thank you, I said. It doesn't change what I need. Back in the room, her lawyer floated a final curveball. Joint statement? She asked. Something dignified for the friend group. My lawyer smiled. Here's ours. We have decided to divorce. We ask for privacy and kindness. Period. Add, any rumors contrary to this are fiction, I said, looking at Megan. She nodded, to her credit. The mediator scratched it down. Afternoon was logistics. Move-out schedule. Keys. The espresso machine went to me after she admitted she'd only ever used it as a prop. I surrendered the Dutch oven she loved like a child. We divided wedding gifts like we were dismantling a stage. Lights, curtains, props, exit stage left. Then the door opened and the coat rack judge turned into a sitcom. Marco himself poked his head in, hat in hand. Forgive, he said to the mediator. I was told to deliver in person. He handed my lawyer a sealed envelope, and gave Megan the kind of sympathetic smile you save for people who learn the hard way about cause and effect. Wishing you both peace, he said, and left like a magician who'd made dignity reappear. What was that? Megan whispered. Sworn copy, my lawyer said, tucking it away. Not necessary. Helpful. We signed the MOU just before 5. Pens down, rings off, hers absent, mine in an envelope. The mediator shook both our hands with the energy of a man defusing a bomb and living to file paperwork about it. In the elevator, Megan pressed the emergency stop. I raised an eyebrow. Please, she said. Just tell me you'll remember the good. I will, I said honestly. And I'll remember the end, because it taught me how to keep the next beginning honest. She let the button go. The elevator shuddered back to life. Outside, the air felt bigger. I texted Olivia. Done. She replied with a clapping emoji and a photo of a thriving snake plant. Still alive, she wrote. Dangerous, hopeful. That evening, Megan released her Notes app apology to the friend group, beige sweater, solemn couch, the works. She said the words I'd heard in the hallway, on camera this time, without blaming my temperature, my calendar, or my DNA. The comments were merciful. Not absolution. Not a stoning. Just quiet acknowledgments from people who'd watched the circus and were ready to go home. I turned off my phone and took a walk past the floodlit garage. Pam was out there, hands on hips, admiring her LEDs like a general inspecting troops. "Looks good, huh?" she said. "Looks honest," I said. At home, I made a mess of pasta, ate it out of the pot, and stood at the sink in the kind of silence that isn't empty, it's spacious. I thought about that sentence. I did this, and how it finally unclenched something I didn't realize I was still gripping. Not enough to fix it. Enough to file it. Tomorrow we'll submit the final paperwork. After that, I'll start painting the spare room a color that isn't waiting. I don't feel victorious. I feel accurate. There's a difference. The divorce decree arrived on a Tuesday, the kind of humid morning where your shirt sticks to your back and even the courthouse looks like it needs a shower. The judge stamped it with a thud that sounded like a door closing and a window opening at the same time. 7 years on paper, 5 signatures to unwind it. Clean. Precise. Like cutting a zip tie. I walked out lighter. Not happy, let's not get Disney, but unburdened in a way I could feel in my shoulders. My lawyer shook my hand like we just finished a renovation under budget. "You did the hardest part," she said. "You stayed reasonable." "Only because I ran out of unreasonable," I told her. I returned the last key, picked up the espresso machine like a newborn, and drove to my apartment with the windows down. The ring stayed sealed in the envelope at the bottom of a drawer. No ceremony. Just storage. Some things don't need fire, they need shelving. I expected quiet. Instead, I got one more surprise on my welcome mat, a shoebox. Inside, our wedding photos, 2 ticket stubs from a concert we loved, and the burner phone, in pieces. On top, a note in Megan's careful handwriting. I broke what mattered. Keep what helps you remember who you were before me. I'm starting over somewhere else. I won't contact you again. For once, no spin. No. My truth. Just a full stop. I slid the box under the bed. Not to keep the past close. To keep it somewhere it couldn't keep biting. Olivia texted a victory gift from a legal show. "Paper's done here too," she wrote. "Plant is still alive." Dangerous woman. Full of hope. She asked if I wanted to clink coffee cups later. I said yes, because grieving and relief can share a table. Work settled back to normal. My boss put a hand on my shoulder the first morning back. "I like you better without the haunted raccoon eyes," he said. Same workload, fewer midnight Slack messages from my brain. My team welcomed me with a cupcake that said, "You ain't married but employed," which is an HR violation and also perfect. HOE Pam through the lights-on ceremony like it was Times Square. She handed me a laminated Neighborhood Visibility Ambassador certificate with my name spelled right and a gold star sticker. I laughed for real, mid-breath, mid-life, because absurdity is a gift when the drama's finally yours to refuse. Then came the last curveball, not from Megan, not from Kyle, he vanished into LinkedIn purgatory, but from someone I didn't expect, Megan's dad. We'd never been close, cordial, sure. He called from a number I didn't recognize and said, "I taught her you could fix anything. That's on me. I'm sorry we let you carry that." It was clumsy and honest and oddly healing. I told him I'd be fine. He said, "I believe you." And for some reason that mattered. I changed the paint in my spare room from waiting gray to "It's my damn house blue." I hung shelves. Crooked, intentionally. A reminder that perfection is a rumor. I cooked aggressively mediocre pasta and ate it out of the pot with a wooden spoon because no one was there to Instagram it. Peace doesn't look glamorous. It looks like laundry folded on the first try and a phone that can stay face up on the table. Megan kept her side of the settlement. No more late-night monologues. No more notes-app essays. She moved out of state, according to a mutual friend who still sends me dog pictures and zero gossip, which is exactly the ratio I want. I took a weekend and drove to a lake by myself. No soundtrack, just water doing water things. I made a tiny fire in one of those approved pits, toasted a lopsided marshmallow, and read a paperback until my eyes got heavy. When I crawled into the tent, the zipper caught and jammed, and I laughed because of course it did. Life is a jammed zipper you learn to unstick without swearing at the sky. People keep asking if I'll date again. Maybe. Not as a quest. As an invitation, when I'm not trying to audition for Savior or Sane One. I like my own company now. That's new. That's enough. What I learned, and what I wish someone had told me before the burner phone behind the toaster. If something feels off, you're not paranoid. You're perceptive. Love can survive boredom. It can't survive contempt and secrecy. Documentation beats confrontation. Paper trails are quieter than shouting and twice as strong. Don't negotiate with threats. Separate, lawyer up, protect your peace. An apology with a subject and a verb. I did this. I hurt you. Heals more than 1,000 paragraphs of weather reports about feelings. You don't have to hate someone to move on. You just have to stop letting them narrate you. Sleep returns. Laughter does, too, first in small stupid bursts, then like a muscle remembering its job. If you're reading this on r/relationship_advice because your gut is louder than your excuses, here's my take. You're allowed to leave a story that stops telling the truth. You're allowed to be the adult who says, no more, without setting yourself on fire to keep a liar warm. You're allowed to want boring. Boring is where peace lives, where people show up when they say they will, and nobody needs a second phone to be who they are. Last night I walked past the floodlit garage. The LEDs hummed. A kid zipped by on a scooter wearing a cape. Pam waved like a crossing guard. I waved back. My phone buzzed, a calendar reminder I forgot to delete. Anniversary dinner? I clicked delete. The world didn't tip. My chest didn't cave. I just kept walking, hands in my pockets, a man whose life finally fits in his own hands. I'm not a victim in this story. I'm the foreman who red-tagged a structure and rebuilt with better materials. Stronger footings. Honest beams. Fewer hidden cavities for rot. If that makes me cold, fine. It also makes me warm enough to sleep through the night. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next videos.